This is the Eastern Shore High School Football Preview Show.
Danny Boy, left in the high school football season, the regular season here on UTV 44, our Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week. One of the oldest rivalries in the state, Murphy-McGill this week here on UTV 44. And we say it all, we kind of get to this midpoint of October, and it's like, where'd the season go? Because you were just like, we were doing, you're like, wait, this one and then two more, and that's the end of the regular season?
But keep in mind, the good ones keep playing.
Yep.
So we've got two good ones tonight and two great rivals, and there's so many storylines with this one tonight. Really looking forward to getting back to the Lip.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup. Both teams undefeated in the region. We'll talk more about that as we look at Murphy-McGill tonight. But we've got to look back, and if we've been doing this for a long time. We've seen a lot of great high school football games. Last Friday night, I think if you just look at the whole body of work, the whole game, it's way up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's way up there.
Even if you look at before the game, because the buildup was so immense to the game we're talking about, of course, was Blunt at Spanish Fort. Everybody anticipating it. Everybody crossing the bay from Blunt to get there and be part of that. And you talk about living up to the billing. It really did. With an overtime game against those two 6A powers. And we talked about this, and everybody said it from the moment that game was over. They definitely could meet again in the playoffs.
And we sure hope they do.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd love to see that again. So Spanish Fort wins it with a late field goal as time expires. The freshman Matthew Quinn kicking the field goal. But, I mean, Tyler Johnston gets the ball back with 3 minutes and 55 seconds left. And when you have a quarterback like that who just said, put it on me, coach, I'm going to get it down there, give us a chance to win, and he certainly did.
Yeah, I say overtime. It felt like overtime, but they did. They wanted it in regulation.
We were hoping for overtime. We wanted it to keep going.
It was something great. So, again, and we may see something again like that tonight because we've got two teams that certainly know each other, kids that have been playing against each other for all their lives, two very talented and physical teams and well-coached teams. So we may have another classic tonight.
Yeah, as I said, both teams unbeaten in the region, so this is a huge matchup tonight that we're going to have here on UTV 44. We are here at Eastern Shore Hyundai this week, and that's why we've got we got McGill and Murphy fans here with us, and they're here helping to try to earn some money for the school, Dan Brennan.
Yeah, you know, you can earn as much as up to $12,000. Number one school walks away with 12 grand. That's by showing spirit at these events. And so Murphy has showed up big time tonight, so they put themselves in the running. After that, you'll have a number two is a winner of $4,000. Two more teams win $2,000 apiece. They can use that money in their football program any way they want. The point is, show your spirit and then let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah, and we'll find out who wins this at the end of the season. We'll have a wrap-up show here. You know, just looking a little bit ahead to this one. Look, we haven't seen Murphy yet this year. Odd for us to be this late in the season and not have a chance to see Rick Colley and the Murphy Panthers yet.
Yeah, but they're good, and they've been playing very well. They've had to fight through some injuries. You know, that's high school football, but I think they probably had more than their share. Everything I hear about Murphy is, you know, they're Murphy. They're physical, and they've got some speed, and Rick always got them on their toes. We've seen McGill.
Yep, a couple times, yeah.
We know what they have, and when you look back at what Blunt did against Spanish Fort, well, I guess McGill's defense is pretty good. They held Blunt to 17, and Blunt gets 38 on the road against a great Spanish Fort defense. So that tells you a lot about the discipline of the McGill Tulane Yellow Jackets. So let's get ready for another great one.
All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back here, we'll hear from Rick Colley, head coach of the Murphy Panthers, and we'll find out how his team's looking, getting ready for the big matchup this week. It's Murphy and McGill. Again, one of the oldest rivalries in the state. We love doing the game, and it comes up in about 25 minutes here on UTV 44. Stick around. We'll talk Murphy Panther football coming up right after this. Injury Lawyers Game of the Week here on UTV 44. Tonight we're back at the Lip in Mobile. Murphy and McGill doing battle. Murphy Panthers coming with a record of 5-2 on the year, but all 5 of those wins in region play. Andrew Spriggs with us here, head coach Rick Colley. And it seems like, Coach, since the very beginning of the year, everybody's been talking about the injuries that you all went through early in the season. And you said you're probably about as healthy as you're going to be right now?
Yeah, I think everybody that's going to be back is back, and we did have a few injuries, but everybody does. And our guys did a good job of whatever we asked them to do to get through it. We had a bunch of people playing out of position. They all did it and did a good job.
Going to be better for it, you think, with these guys maybe that giving you a little depth, or guys that have a better understanding of the total package because they've had to play other positions?
Well, I think it helped us realize that we can do more than one thing. We were kind of a two-back offense all summer, and we had to get out of that real quick, and we realized that we got some players that we didn't know could play that could get out there and contribute.
When you look at this such a rivalry, it means a week. What is the early part of the week been like around the campus of Murphy getting ready for this one?
Well, I just know with the football program, it's just kind of been to calm everybody down. Everybody, I warn them to not try to play the game before the game is here. You can't play it on Monday, you can't play it on Tuesday. And, I've got to remind myself of that all the time because I'm kind of a crazy person anyway. So it's just let's relax and do what we're supposed to do just to get to the game, so we don't wear ourselves out worrying about things that aren't important.
Talk about now when we talk about we call out the Spriggs name, and Dan and I joke about how long we've been doing this, and Dan said I knew him when he was in a stroller here, and it's like, wow, maybe he was even in some of the games back then.
Well, and I think the good kind of tonic for a crazy person coach like our friend Rick is to have the calmness of one of the Spriggs kids who just kind of bring an even temperament to everything. Talk about Andrew.
Yeah, he is very calm. Even when I'm at my craziest, you can kind of scan the team, and he's always, he never changes facial expressions no matter what's going on.
Yeah.
Every now and then he'll crack a joke or something like that, but he's a pretty even-keeled kid.
Talk about the week. I mean, you've been through, Murphy, McGill, the rivalry, the history. Talk about what this week's going to be like and what the game's going to be like tonight as well.
Well, I think the game's going to be very intense, just like it has been at school. Been very energetic. Trying to get ready, be prepared as much as we can be so we can, do the same thing we did last year.
Your brother was an outstanding cornerback at Murphy for a number of years, and I know he started 2 or 3 years. When you were coming along, as you were getting closer to the experience of becoming a Murphy Panther, did he actually ever have any advice for you? Did he just figure you were going to figure it out on your own? How did that go?
Nothing. I didn't even know I was going to Murphy, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it was never really like that. We don't talk about football as much. He'll say something every now and then, but it's not as much as what we talk about.
The Spriggs just go out and play.
Yeah.
There you go.
Don't say a lot. Don't have to say a lot out there.
No.
All right, how about you, Coach? The crazy coach, as you say, is second year. I mean, does people talk about players? The game starts to slow down a little bit on the field as they get more experience. How about as a second year head coach at Murphy? How is it? Breathe a little easier, a little calmer, more routine?
I mean, you'd have to ask all of them. I think I'm calmer, but, you'd probably get a different answer from them. I think I've learned to multitask a little better. I'm good at losing my mind and doing my job a little bit better. I can kind of go back and forth, yell at a referee, call a play. I'm a little better at that kind of stuff.
I mean, you yelled at 2 referees your whole time. It's not something that happens very often.
That's right. That's very rare.
The game. Look at McGill.
I'm going to throw a flag on that play.
Yeah. Look at McGill. Look at what they bring this year. Every year is different, but kind of talk about what you're seeing getting ready for the matchup.
They're very fast, offensively and defensively, very fast. They kind of remind me of some of the earlier Murphy teams as far as their speed is. I was up the other night real late watching film on my iPad, and I told Coach Ross, and he doesn't believe me, but my daughter, she said, "What's wrong with the iPad?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, it's all moving really fast." And I said, "Baby, that's just how they run." She said, "Well, y'all don't run like that." And I'm like, "We're going to do our best."
So a lot of speed, but also, too, it's a big game. Murphy's been in a lot of big games. You talked about the rivalry, keeping it together. It does have the matchup on paper of being a real entertaining game. That's why we're here to do it on TV.
Yeah. Also the danger of that is, you come in too amped up and, not being ready to go out there and do your job. And then that game that's supposed to be such a good game gets away from you and you're playing catch up. And that's really not we've had to do that once against Theodore, and it's really not what we do. Mm-hmm. We like to, kind of control the clock and stuff like that. And, they like to get out and run. So it's kind of a contrasting style. It'll be an interesting game.
What is the difference? And sometimes it's a rivalry game for somebody else, because Murphy's always been a big dog. So they view you as a rival, and maybe to you guys it's just another week. But there's no doubt about this one. Do you notice it in the kids? And like you said, you need to kind of keep them on a short chain?
Well, I think the kids, when you get to Murphy, it's kind of, beating your head when you first get there, that it's, we got a couple Murphy grads that are coaches, and it means a lot to them. The alumni, they start showing up this week and walking around at practice, and you're like, where have you been all year? Where's your checkbook? But, they're a lot more interested in this game.
Yeah, right.
And, they're going to come in the locker room after the game, win or lose, and they're either going to be really happy with you or they're going to help you pack.
But no pressure. No pressure in the job. No pressure in the job. All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Andrew, thanks for being with us. We'll see you back in the last segment. When we come back, we'll talk about the McGill side of this. It's Murphy and McGill tonight here on the Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week on UTV 44. UTV 44, the Murphy Band, always one of our favorites here in the area as well. Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week. We just heard the Murphy side, now we got the McGill side. Coach Caleb Ross with us, third time we've seen the Yellow Jackets this season, and Quay Kennedy, who going to run the ball some tonight. We'll see him at wide receiver as well. And Coach, I guess we could just right out of the way, your thoughts on the week that is Murphy McGill.
Yeah, same thing that Coach Cawley's saying. You really got a total team that said, look, it's going to be a lot of outside influence. The student body's going to be excited. Alumni is going to be excited. There's going to be a buzz at the school. But at the end of the day, we play a really good football team. And then we got to go out and be prepared. And bottom line, can't let the moment, overwhelm us. And, we played in some big ball games before, so has Murphy. But when it comes down to it, it's about what happens in between those lines. And you got to get those kids dialed in and focused on that and try to avoid the outside stuff as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, there may be 7 city blocks between the two schools, right?
That's right.
And these kids have been playing each other. I don't know how you extract that from the emotion of the kids who've been playing against somebody, of many of these kids, since they were 5 years old and know each other
and
very
maybe
well.
you don't. Maybe you want to have that in there, right? Maybe you want to keep some of that in there.
It's a challenge because I didn't, it's hearing these kids, oh, Coach, I played park ball with him, or I played against him in Little League, and it just really just blows me away that they know all these kids, and it's really, they know most of these guys. Oh, Coach, I've been going against him my whole life. I know, so it really, it's a neat thing to watch it. Really
how about you now? So you're going to move back, maybe see you run the ball a little bit more this week, but talk about what your week's been like and what you see as you get ready for the Murphy Panthers.
Yes, sir. It's been a change in position, but Coach Ross been adapting me that for the whole summer, getting me ready mentally since my junior year. It's second nature now. Good coaching by Coach Ross and the offensive coordinator, Coach Ross.
It's nice to have athletes be able to move around and put them in the right place, isn't it?
And we want to be multiple. I mean, we are a multiple spread offense, and we try to get the ball in as many people's hands as possible and spread the field. And we're very fortunate. We have a young man, Quay, he can do it all. He can return kicks. He runs great routes, got good hands, and he's also really good with the ball in his hand at running back.
Does it feel, can you feel just a little extra excitement with it being Murphy week this week?
Yes, sir, most definitely I can. Murphy week. That's all I got to say.
And that's something that, and I think that's the great thing about high school athletics. I mean, you'll remember Murphy week the rest of your life. I mean, this will just be a part of you the rest of your life. That's kind of cool.
Yes, sir, it is very cool. My older brother actually went to Murphy, played for Murphy, so it's kind of,
A little sibling rivalry going on in the Kennedy house here.
Yeah, and also, Quay, if you would, talk about the game is at home. It's at your place, and what the crowd means and how the student body supports you guys and what you feel on the field when that's all going on.
It's definitely a lot more energy coming in after the break. Our student body, great student body, very electric feeling.
We maybe a little different look than we've seen out of some Murphy teams in the past that we're going to see here tonight.
Yeah, they are big and physical, and I've told Rick all year that's the best offensive line I've seen. And I don't look at it anymore, but being a former offensive line myself, they're fun to watch. They finish blocks. They're big and physical on the front, which on their defensive front, that hadn't changed. They're always big and physical on the defensive front. But they are, and they got speed too. They got some good speed. Their skill positions, quarterback's an electric playmaker. I mean, it's going to be a really good ball game.
I think we're going to see a couple of really well-coached teams this year because I've heard that about Murphy's offensive line. We've heard it about and seen it in your offensive line that they do all the little things right. So this game could definitely come down to something crazy.
That's right.
Something small that becomes real big, right?
That's right. It's really who can control the line of scrimmage. But also it's a rivalry game. It's one of those things. Sometimes throw the records out. You just never know. Both sides are going to play hard, and it's fun to coach in. I know the kids are excited about playing in. We're excited about coaching in too.
Yeah, throw the records out, but I think we don't want to overlook the fact that a big reason why we're here for the game of the week. Both teams 5-0 in the region. I mean, this is a huge region game for both teams.
It is, and like I was saying earlier, that's the challenge to our kids. It is a big rivalry, and there is going to be a lot of outside influence. At the end of the day, this is a big game to have control, maybe home field advantage in the playoffs, and our kids know that. And the same thing that Coach Cawley, said by his kids, we got to focus on what's most important. That's playing a game. Line up against the man across from you and whipping him and winning that battle.
And you mentioned home field advantage, and I think for you, it's a bigger advantage than some other places because the Lip is just it's a really unique place to play, and it's tough for teams to come in on the road and get a win there.
I tell us all the time, it's a collegiate atmosphere there. It really is. We have a great student body. They're there early. They tailgate. It's just a great atmosphere. It really is. And probably maybe my couple years at Prattville, which is equivalent, that was a different type of environment. That's probably the two best venues I've ever had I guess the fortune of coaching in. It's really exciting.
Yeah, Prattville is a little unique when they roll out the live lion, like we saw on the sideline there. Remember?
They brought him one time. They brought him down the interstate.
Remember they brought him on the interstate, and there was that whole horrible thing with the lion and the interstate and the car behind it. It was windshield wiper. It was just a bad scene. Anyway, all right, Quay, good luck out there tonight. Be safe. Caleb, stay right here. We'll have you for the last segment. We got a special segment coming up on the history of the Cannon as well. We'll talk all about that coming up here in just a few minutes. It's Murphy and McGill tonight right here on the Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week on UTV 44.
Add a line.
Yeah, we'll get one. Murphy McGill here on UTV 44 tonight. Our game of the week, of course, one of the great traditions of this game is painting the cannon there at the Loop. And, of course, not encouraged by anyone, anything like that. It's a great tradition. Ashley Pope found out a little bit more about it earlier this week.
It's the week of McGill and Murphy, the rivalry of the Cannon. Some call it as big as North versus South, Alabama versus Auburn, whatever you want to call it here. But what has concerned me this week is that past and current students may not know the meaning of this cannon. So I have taken it to the streets this week to get the truth of this cannon. Katie, can you help our viewers a little bit about the cannon? Can you, by chance, remember what war did the cannon derive from?
Well, of course, every Murphy grad knows that it was the Civil War.
What two streets does the cannon sit on in Mobile?
Well, I know it's the Cannon at the Loop, right?
That is right.
So that might be Airport and Government.
We are here at McGill Tulane High School, and I have
Madison Todd,
Madison. What year will you graduate from McGill?
2K16.
Okay, so you should know this answer. What school does McGill play for the Battle of the Cannon?
St. Paul? The Panthers. I'm gonna go with Murphy.
Okay, you're right, but it took a little bit of time, so on to our next person.
The USS Alabama. Yes. Which is the battleship. The battleship. Yeah. No, unless you have permission.
No,
like
I
for
think
like
it
Murphy.
is. Wait.
No, I think it might be. Like for Murphy and McGill games, like and stuff like that. But they,
I think it is vandalism.
yeah, I think it's vandalism. I think it is. The city. The city. Yeah, the city. The city workers. No,
Or
yeah,
like
the
if they
city
catch the
workers.
people that did it, like, isn't
No,
that like?
I think it's the city
No,
workers.
it's
It's like the community service, like, yeah.
Murphy.
Murphy versus McGill, perhaps the longest running feud in the South. Victory will be had by one team Friday night. And they will, in fact, paint the iconic cannon that symbolizes power, authority, victory over the city of Mobile for 365 days. We all will be there, and we all will see history being made this Friday night. Be there.
You know, a little known fact also I can add to that about the cannon, you know, talking about who paints it back, you know, actually it's how Dan and I came to town. We were hired, we were the ones strictly because we were good cannon painters. That's really what we did best.
I liked in that piece, though, Ashley was able to talk to, quote unquote, cannon expert.
Yes.
So there's a cannon expert out there to make sure to set the record straight.
Murphy, are you a cannon expert?
I know a little bit about it. I've been there a while.
Right, yeah. How about Caleb? You had to learn kind of quickly,
I've learned quick.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot.
I do think it is one of the neatest traditions. And again, we're not supposed to encourage it, but I just think it's the coolest thing.
Oh, yeah, especially when you get maybe a little lady and you see it's already happened, and those poor flowers that get trampled. That's what there's little flower carnage that takes place.
Well, there's nurseries all over the place.
All right, so we'll find out what color the candy gets painted in about 3 hours from tonight. All right, we got crazy questions here to wrap things up. All right, baseball playoffs in full swing. Chicago Cubs, are you ready to jump on the bandwagon with me?
I don't watch, so I might as well.
All right, thanks. We're glad to have Dan was here early. You got your son living there in Wrigley?
Son lives 5 blocks from the stadium.
How about you? You ready to be in?
Yeah, when it predicted in Back to the Future.
Exactly.
Yes, that's right.
That was it. All right, if you were in the circus, what would you do?
Probably Tame the Lion.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. Gosh, man, they got these questions.
Yeah,
where are they coming
I can see him on a unicycle. I can see Caleb on the unicycle right now. All right, weekend guys trip, Pebble Beach or up to Napa Valley?
Napa Valley.
With the guys?
Yeah.
Pebble Beach.
All right.
Okay.
I've seen you golf. We'll just leave it at that. All right, favorite road high school stadium to go play in?
On the road?
Yeah.
Opelika's fun.
Fun to go to Opelika.
The Lip.
Likes to go to the Lip, and he'll be there tonight. That's where we are at. It's Murphy and McGill. Great matchup. Both teams undefeated in the region. Kickoff comes up in about 7 minutes right here. Green and Phillips, Injury Lawyers.